Published by International Journal of Engineering Research and Technology, IJERT, www.ijert.org ISSN, 2278-0181 Volume 9 Issue 08, August 2020. Leveraging Product Characteristics for Online Collusive Detection in Big Data Transactions. Abstract, it has been a big concern for e-business platform in online fraud transaction. The reputation scores supplied by the platform will be always evaluated by e-commerce users, as developed by big data technology. High reputations always bring high profit to sellers is the reason why the seller prefer chasing high reputation scores supplied by the platform. The fraud by acquiring high reputation scores forms a collusion which will attract more potential buyers. It is a crucial task to recognize the fake reputation information by the e-commerce website. This continuous and growing problems is tried to be solved by e-commerce platforms by adopting data mining techniques. The big data plays a crucial role in economic society, with highly developed Internet of Things. The economic growth is done in different domains using big data. By analyzing operational data, the management and decision-making ability in e-business supplies support. The online commerce, provide users with a fair and healthy reputation system, also improves the shopping experience using big data technology. The main aims of this paper is to include individual and transaction-related indicators by putting forward a conceptual framework which extract the characteristics of fraud transaction. Product type and product nature is the two product features. The accuracy of fraud detection is obviously enhanced by these two features. To verify the effectiveness of the indicators in the detection model, a real-world dataset is used, which puts forward to recognize the fraud transactions from the legitimate ones. Keywords: e-business, fraud detection, reputation system, SNA, K-Core. Introduction. By the usage of the Internet of Things, a huge amount of data is generated. The relevant data such as data mining and machine learning is adopted by online commerce to get valuable business information by big data technology. By taking advantage of IoT and big data management, and healthy shopping platform environment is created, and also it boosts the sales. By the support of big data technology and high efficiency and low cost of Internet of Things, the popularity of online shopping has been promoted. The Chinese Internet Network Information Center, CINIC, shows that China has 772 million online users, which was established in 2017 by China Internet Development. Yuvaraja MS2, Pooja MV3, Sahana BT4. Shailaja T5. Most of the online business websites to solve this problem offers the recommendation system or credit information system to assist potential buyers in distinguishing legitimate shopper from fraudsters. To prevent fake transactions, most of online shopping platforms such as JD, Ding Dong, Yelp and Dobeo, uses reputation system. Reputation system has been essential to e-business environment. The goods need to be delivered after the buyer pays online, due to the geographically distance. It makes the risk higher. There have been some reputation systems on historical transaction that show users' reviews. These systems play crucial roles in online transactions. When their transaction is completed, some reputation systems ask both sides of a trade to give rating score to counterparty. Current reputation systems may sum or average the gathered rating. The system just simply keeps a final score by using the positive scores minus the negative scores. In this way, Dobeo platform uses the sum of rating. Normally, potential buyers are more likely to shop with the sellers who have high reputation, seem more reliable. In online market there are significant amounts of fraud transactions. From the big data generated by IoT platform can collect the relevant mass data and acquire valuable information to improve service and profits. The high reputations always bring high profit to sellers, so sellers prefer chasing high reputation scores. A significant amount of fraud activities led the temptation of economic gains and the difficulty of Internet supervision. Reputation systems always be attacked by illegal organization and cannot perfectly reflect the trader's reputation. The detection of the inflated reputation fraud has been an important task for online shopping platforms, since online buyers rely on the reputation system to evaluate the sellers. Based on the valuable information acquired by IoT and big data, the online collusive detection is necessary to find out illegal users. However, collusion between users though undermines the reliability of reputation systems, has very limited attention has been put. Systematic anti-fraud solutions are scarce in some way, so limited resource has been put in the anti-fraud field. By solving fraud transactions, Dobeo shows great interest. Some studies have been made on auction fraud, such as the fraud types, motivations behind fraud, the influence of bogus websites, etc. Different methods have been put forward, including graph mining methods, decision trees, regression models, model checking, statistical methods, the classical classification methods of neural networks, clustering, neighbor diversity, a detailed overview of the methods for fraud detection. There are three aspects in our study's contributions. 1. We are introducing two new features of fraud transaction and combine them with other user characters for fraud recognition. Including the product type and product nature, etc., many aspects of online transaction behavior have been extracted. While developing detection models, it should be useful to other types of online collusion, including money laundering, tax evasion, smuggling and drug trafficking. The way of acquiring the indicators could be generalized to other collusion behavior detection. 2. The real-world dataset is used to verify the practical of our detection model. 3. For protecting online reputation environment, we give some implications to platform policy in online e-commerce. 2. Existing system. Big data plays a crucial role in economic society, with the high development of the Internet of Things. Big data increases the economic growth in different domains. By analyzing operational data, the management and decision-making ability in e-business supplies support. The online commerce, provide users with a fair and healthy reputation system, also improves the shopping experience using big data technology. It has been difficult to be identified the accurate identity of the e-commerce participant, as the online shopping environment features is virtual. Buyers always not feel easy to get desired product quality due to asymmetric information. 3. Proposed method. Hypotheses. In our study, fraud transaction aiming to inflate reputation refers to the illegal transaction that many illegal communities are undertaking for benefit. The term puppet buyers refer to the ID registered by collusion gang with the aim of accomplishing fraud transactions with sellers who paid for inflated reputation. Collusive seller refers to the fraudster who tries to obtain high credit score by illegal way. The usual way to inflate reputation is illustrated in Fig 1. Illegal organization will recruit so many puppet buyers to fulfill multiple collusion transactions with fake delivering of products. After the collusive sellers pay will significantly enhance the reputation of the collusive sellers. Collusive transaction that misleads benign purchasers could be treated as deception. A homo economicus precondition. As the fundamental assumption of neoclassical economics, homo economicus treats people as a self-serving and opportunistic individual. Sociologists do not affirm the pure economic man assumption, and they intended to reconcile homo economicus with homo sociologicus assumption 53. However, neoclassical economist, Becker 7, suggested that offenders also make rational decisions. Most scholars insist that the homo economicus paradigm is crucial for survival and success in terms of some aspects of life. 36. So, when the advantage of their crime outweighs the disadvantage, criminals, as individuals who willingly commit crime, do fraud transactions. In light of the context, Fig 1 shows the 7 hypotheses based on two types of variables. Control I variables. Research. Active and ease. Product. Likelihood. I value. I of 2. I collusion product seller I reputation. Detail. Figure 1, 7 hypotheses in the research model. In our study, collusive transaction for improving credibility are considered as a crime in the online shopping environment. 74. This study attempts to make use of the characters of fake transactions according to the reason behind the economics of crime. It assumes that all crimes make sensible decision. We put forward 7 hypotheses based on the homo economicus precondition by analyzing cost and gaining of fraud transactions. B. Cost of fraud transactions. There are two types of costs should be taken into consideration as a fraudster. One is the economic costs and the other one is behavioral costs. Behavioral costs refer to what the collusion organization should pay to finish the order booked by sellers. The acts contain instrumental acts and goal acts as proposed by Verhoeven 69. Goal acts will bring about expected benefits, while instrumental acts are conducted with aim to achieve the goal. Registration helps to generate puppet buyer in the online business environment. All the behaviors conducted to implement those processes in a fake trading can be treated as goal acts, including the selection of products, payments, giving rating level and writing comments and advices for the service. As a result, positive ratings and normally, it is simple for the buyer to register a comments which were evaluated by these puppet buyers. New user account. As we known, only a valid telephone number is asked to acquire a user identity. Users then should input validation code that is sent to their registered phone numbers when setting up an account. So, the cost is relatively low. Nevertheless, a fair amount of time and efforts are required to develop computer programs or hire people to register and maintain many phone accounts. The best way to save cost is to make as many orders as possible with multiple sellers. There is a feature of fraudsters. Activeness was also mentioned by Bloom et al., 2006. Therefore, first hypothesis is presented below. Hypothesis 1. The fraud user's liveness hypothesis. Fraudsters are involved in more transactions than benign ones. To protect buyers' interests, most platforms use third-party payment software to hold money before the shopper confirms the reception of goods. It generates an economic cost for the collusion organization caused by money's time value. When a buyer is satisfied with the product, he can click the confirm button on the e-commerce website to complete the order or just let it automatically close after 15 days. The money will be transferred to sellers when trading is successful. Otherwise, the money will return to the buyers. The third-party payment service has been widely adopted in online market and it promotes the online transactions by supplying institution. Based credit 55. Dobeo uses Alipay as their escrow service to secure per transaction. When it comes to fake transaction, the seller needs to prepay the payment for goods to collusion organization. The money finally will return to seller by going through the third-party payment institution. This process usually costs 2 to 5 days because the time spent on delivery. It will be even longer if buyers forget to confirm reception. The money's time cost will be high if per product is too expensive. The same amount of money can undertake more transaction about low-price products. So, the fraud shopkeeper prefers to low-value goods when improving the reputation scores of collusive sellers. Therefore, low-value items are the better choice to gain more positive ratings with the same amount of money. Chow et al. 17 indicated the low-value products are observed in activities that aim to inflate reputation. As mentioned above, we come to the next hypothesis. Hypothesis 2. Low-value product hypothesis. Fake transactions prefer cheaper products than expensive ones. The e-commerce platforms usually take actions to detect and prevent the fraud transaction. Then they will close the fraud accounts. The collusion organizations have to keep registering new accounts to guarantee enough accounts that are supplied to fulfill the collusion tasks. It is reasonable to conclude that many new registered accounts participate in take trading. Therefore, we build hypothesis below. Hypothesis 3. The fake transaction gangs attempt to avoid the risks of being detected by website operator. They need to supply the fake express logistics information though they do not deliver anything. If the transactions refer to tangible products, illegal organizations are required buying express number from express companies for the fake express information. Therefore, the cost for fake delivery goes up. Intuitively, collusive communities do not want to face the fee. They need to take the product nature into consideration. A feasible solution is to transact virtual product which is no need for physical delivery. Such as, online software, music, digit photos, game card, telephone recharging, etc. So, next hypothesis is put forward. Hypothesis 4, the collusion product nature hypothesis. Collusion organization prefers virtual products than tangible ones. Hypothesis 5, the collusive transaction product type hypothesis. Fake transactions groups have a different preference for 16 types of products. As online comments become more and more influential in guiding online participators to make purchase decisions, review fraud 35 has emerged as a major threat to this process. This black hat practice intends to affect people's buying decisions by creating misleading reviews about domains of businesses, example restaurants, hotels. By posting good and long comments for their own or leaving low scores and terrible comments for rivals, malicious business owners can often achieve sales increase. It has been estimated that about 16% of Yelp reviews written for the restaurants in the metropolitan Boston area are fake. 48. To make the situation even worse, review fraud practitioners today have evolved in specialization. They are found to collaborate, and form coordinated campaigns for 72. Such that richer manpower and trickier tactics can be put into use to achieve more covered and cost-effective fraud practices. There are prior attempts attacking such collusive fraud. Livingston 46 found out that higher reputation always results in higher profit for sellers. So, the fraud sellers always chase high reputation even hiring collusion service. Many researches have been conducted to verify that positive comments have positive relationship with the sales volume. 44. When customers surfing on e-commerce market, The comments evaluated by previous consumers play a part in the decision of potential buyers. The motivation behind the same level rating may be totally different. Some people give high rating after they receive the desired quality, while others think highly of the enthusiastic service or the delivery speed. Compared with reputation score, more valuable information be reflected by detailed comments writing by previous buyers. Those comments enable the potential buyers to make sensible decision based on more information. By interviewing certain amount of e-commerce users, we reach a conclusion that, if a buyer is willing to spend time in writing praise words to the seller should be good enough. Therefore, to improve the service of collusive organizations, the puppet fraudsters are always asked to make detailed good comments. Therefore, we put forward our sixth hypothesis. Hypothesis 6: the informative reviews hypothesis. The puppet buyers are asked to provide positive rating and detailed evaluation. Many researchers have focused on improving the current reputation systems. 22. Sellers have intention to inflate their reputation because they eager to acquire more notice and trust of potential buyer. The shopkeepers who have already possessing high credit score also join fake transaction by using low value product to inflate reputation, because they want to attract good buyers to consume luxury goods. It brings more huge profit for sellers with high reputation scores than the new player. It is not easy to make a buyer shop high value product in an online shop with low reputation. Thus, we infer that. Hypothesis 7, the high reputation seller's hypothesis: seller with high credit score is motivated to take part in fake transactions. 4. Data collection and data set preparation. A data source. In our empirical study, we use a real-world data set supplied by Dobeo platform, which is one of the leading e-commerce websites over the world. 44. This platform was set up in 2003. Dobeo only took 2 years to be top in Chinese e-business list. 34. Our data were acquired under a non-disclosure agreement. The data includes fraudulent accounts related to fraud transaction and corresponding transaction records. Several efforts have been made to detect collusive transaction. There are 2 kinds of detection mechanism. One is complaint-driven mode, while the other is all-seller investigation. Complaint-driven mode refers to that Dobeo will undertake an investigation in specific seller who are complained by buyers. If the seller cannot supply strong evidence to explain the suspicious case, he will be labeled as a fraud account. All-seller investigation is conducted by Dobeo to detect the shady organization professional in reputation inflation. The platform aims to identify whose reputation grows too fast. We have both kinds of data. We used a self-developed web crawler program to capture benign trading records. It contributes to build our transaction network. We collect data about well-behaved users who have relations with fraudulent sellers who are labeled by platform. Finally, we obtained a mass of information of legitimate users who have been recognized as benign users by platform. There are 170,899 transactions, including 2,917 fraud transactions, 1.71%, 803 collusive accounts and 23,401 non-collusive accounts that we used for analysis. B. Product features. We then use the data collected from Dobeo to generate 12 variables if virtual good and product type. The label if virtual good is dummy variable, which is used to identifying whether the product is physical goods. It equals zone, if a product is virtual. Otherwise 0. We use variable product type to represent the type of product. There are 16 categories in all. When we sort the products, we refer to the 16 category listing from Dobeo homepage. Table 1, the detail of 16 categories. After the data processing, those 2 properties were converted into digital information from text information. To generate the attribute if virtual good, we classified 6,040 records manually. We took 5,000 records for training in the naive Bayesian model, while the remaining as the test set. See control variables. In our empirical study, the dependent variable is a dummy variable. If a transaction is fraud, the label is 1, and 0 is used to label benign transaction. In our study, we treat transaction as a collusion when both the seller and buyer are fraudsters. If one side is benign user and the other side normally, the seller gets the payment when the buyer confirms reception. This rule is published to protect the seller's benefits if the buyer forgets to confirm the order. System will rate the trade as good level in default. We mark default good comment as A3. Intuitively, there should be 7 types of evaluation. However, there only have 5 types with B1 and C1 in our data set. Because, buyers who comment seller with degree B or C are unsatisfied with the shopping experience strongly which related to the product quality or service. They need to complain, so they all write comment. That is why our data do not have B1 or C1 that one-click comment. So, we classify the evaluation into 5 groups finally, Table 3. We should notice that type A3 comments should rarely appear in collusion transaction. Because in that way, their cost will be higher. Alipay hold a significantly long time before paying it to sellers. User-written comments are taken into consideration. Various types of comments supply different value to sellers. 1. Rating level and detail reviews. After each transaction, buyer will be asked to rate the corresponding seller within 3 choices mentioned above. Of course, buyer can do nothing. Then the system will automatically add 1 score to the seller's reputation with a default praise remark, a default good comment. After rating step, shopper can write detail review or advice to seller of his own accord. In our experiment, we take both rate levels and detail reviews into account. Here, we use a BC to mark 3 rating level, positive, neutral, and negative respectively. Label 1 denotes detailed text comments, and label 2 mean no text comment. Our study defines 3 levels of evaluation grade. The positive rate can be divided into 3 categories based on different appraisal behavior. The neutral and negative also be classified into 2 subclasses respectively according to platform's regulations. The positive rating has 3 types. The first one is called one-click positive reputation, namely, type A1. The buyer just needs to click the good button on the screen and leaves nothing in the detail review area. The second type, named an evaluation in detail, is denoted as A2. It occurs when buyer supplies good comment and provides writing reviews to the shopkeeper at the same time. Third, if the buyer does not rate the sellers after half month, the transaction should to be closed because the third-party payment holds the money. Normally, the seller gets the payment when the buyer confirms reception. This rule is published to protect the seller's benefits if the buyer forgets to confirm the order. System will rate the trade as good level in default. We mark a default good comment as A3. Intuitively, there should be 7 types of evaluation. However, there only have 5 types with B1 and C1 in our data set. Because, buyers who comment seller with degree B or C are unsatisfied with the shopping experience strongly which related to the product quality or service. They need to complain, so they all write comment. That is why our data do not have B1 or C1 that one-click comment. So, we classify the evaluation into 5 groups finally, Table 3. We should notice that type A3 comments should rarely appear in collusion transaction. Because in that way, their cost will be higher. Alipay hold a significantly long time before paying it to sellers. 2. The descriptive statistics. The descriptive statistics for our indicators. There are 9 indexes and 5 types of reviews. As we can see from descriptive statistics for our indicators. There are 9 indexes and 5 types of reviews. As we can see from the table 4, the mean price of products is RMB 52.8981, and S.D, the standard deviation, for it is 154.52 with value range from 0.01 to 10,100. The rest variables can be comprehended in the same way. The empirical model. A fraud detection model use logical regression because logistic regression model has an advantage over characteristic counting, and the model are improved by using characteristics that characteristic counting is limited or does not have 50. With a usage of 13% used in detecting financial fraud, the logistic regression model is placed on the cutting edge of data mining tool 1. In collusion prediction this model has been widely utilized, although linear relation does not reflect the about the variables 49. In basic form statistics model widely use logistic model and also logistic function to model a binary dependent variable. In a form of binomial regression, logistic regression is estimating the parameters of a logistic model, using regression analysis. Mathematically, with 2 possible values a binary logistic model has a dependent variable, these are represented by an indicator variable, where 0 and 1 2 values are labeled. Collusive transaction as 1 and benign 1 as 0 is labeled using logistic model. We use a real-world data set supplied by Dobeo platform, in empirical study. Under a non-disclosure agreement our data were acquired. Related to fraud transaction and corresponding transaction records, the data includes fraudulent accounts. We used a self-developed web crawler program to capture benign trading records. It contributes to build our transaction network. We collect data about well-behaved users who have relations with fraudulent sellers who are labeled by platform. Finally, we obtained a mass of information of legitimate users who have been recognized as benign users by platform. There are 170,899 transactions, including 2,917 fraud transactions, 1.71%, 803 collusive accounts and 23,401 non-collusive accounts that we used for analysis. After cleaning and preparing the data and built the detection model, we used sklearn package to realize the logical regression under the Python environment. Released in 2007, scikit-learn has become an important machine learning library for Python. Scikit-learn, or sklearn for short, supports 4 machine learning algorithms including classification, regression, reduction, and clustering. It also includes 3 modules: feature extraction, data processing and model evaluation. Sklearn is an extension of SciPy, based on the NumPy and Matplotlib libraries. By taking advantage of these modules, the efficiency of machine learning can be greatly improved. Sklearn has a rich API and is popular in academia. Sklearn already encapsulates a number of machine learning algorithms, including logical regression. At the same time, Sklearn has a large number of built-in data sets, which saves the time of acquiring and sorting data sets. We verify the proposed indexes by adopting the approach of logic regression. Some variables including buyer's K-score, buyer age, the volume of transactions per month, review length, product price, and seller's reputation are replaced by corresponding logarithmic equivalents, because the considerable skewness emphasizes the need for these transformations. The detection model is presented as below. 6 experimental results. The experiment results are shown in Table 5. All the indexes are remarkable at the level of 0.01. Through the coefficient, 0.124, of indicator buyer K-core, our first hypothesis, the fraud user's liveness hypothesis, is supported. From conception of K-core, we find out that high frequency does not mean high K-core. A node with high frequency may be with low K-core. The result verifies the fact that employed customers are interacting with many shopkeep. Those buyers are active in making fake transactions. The negative coefficient, minus 0.398, for the price indicator supports the low-value product hypothesis, H2. It reflects the relationship between product price and the possibility of collusive users quantitatively. It indicates that cheap goods are more likely to be involved in fake transactions. The second type of evaluation, A2, represents an evaluation in detail. It has significantly positive relationship with fake transactions as the coefficient shows. It demonstrates our sixth hypothesis, the informative reviews hypothesis. The negative coefficient, minus 1.311, of the variable if virtual indicate that products form is a feature of collusive transactions. The outcome means tangible products are less involved in collusive transaction. Namely, it validates the fact that collusive transactions prefer virtual than physical. 1. The result supports the collusive transaction product form hypothesis, H4. The positive coefficient of 6 kinds of product, type 3, 5, 7, 8, 11, 16. Indicates that fake transaction groups have a different preference for the 16 types of product. It focuses on 6 types as Table 6 shown. We check in every category in details. When user clicks on the type, Dobeo homepage shows more detail about the category. Also, we look in the fraud transaction in dataset to find out in our study, behaviors between benign participator and fraudster are significantly different. The process of obtaining these indexes, short text classification, can be generalized to other kinds of fraud activities. Results. The specific product name. Type 3 includes studying material and early education. Type 5 includes tissue. Type 7 supplies sports class. Type 8 embraces dancing and music training. Type 11 involves online design. Type 11 covers learning ticket local service. We could find out that most of them do not need delivery. The result supports our collusive transaction product type hypothesis, H5. Besides, the individual related indicators are also significant in this model. As we can see from Table 6, the fake buyer is always new user of the platform. To maximum the profit of a legal organization, those accounts often begin their fake transactions as soon as possible. Therefore, the new registered fraud buyer hypothesis, H3, is verified. Similarly, the shopkeeper with higher reputation is more likely to participate in fake transactions, consistent with the high reputation hypothesis, H7. In brief, the 7 hypotheses shown in Fig 1 are supported in our experiment. A key findings. Presenting a framework to acquire the characters of fake transactions in e-business platform is one of our goals. 7 key findings are shown in Table 6, and we also give our corresponding explanation. There is not a very effectively method in recognizing fraudsters. Many efforts have been made to this area. However, not all the available information has been extracted from the user data, such as the detection in fraudster, Yuvaraja et al., 2011, Collusive fraud detection in online reviews, Chang, 2016. We identify the costs and the benefits of collusive organization, then select a set of features with 2 new derived factors that are hypothesized to be valid in differentiating benign and undesirable behavior. We make use of more available information by putting forward variables like review length, product type, product nature. In our study, behaviors between benign participator and fraudster are significantly different. The process of obtaining these indexes, short text classification, can be generalized to other kinds of fraud activities. B. Performance. Figure 2, cross-validate ROC curve. In our model, we leverage 2 product features to enhance the accuracy of online collusive detection. To test the significantly effective of the product features. In Figure 2, we compare our model with the previous one, which is without product features in the same data context by ROC graph. The ROC graph, receiver operating characteristics, is proposed by Spackman in 1989. In our study, we use the cross-validate ROC curve to visualize the performance for our detection model. The result is shown in Figure 2. Our detection model adopts the form of logit model to recognize the fake transactions. Lim, 2000, pointed out that the logistic regression has a good performance in classification area, no matter about training time, mean rank of error rate, or the mean error. ROC is an effective tool to measure the performance of a classifier. Fawcett, 2006. In Figure 2, the vertical axis refers to the true positive rate, which is also named recall. The horizontal axis means the false alarm rate. The black dotted line is a diagonal line, with y equals x. The line y equals x stands for the strategy which guesses a class randomly. The blue line represents the ROC curve for the detection model proposed in our study, while the red one stands for the model without product features. Our model outputs a probability and we choose a threshold by experiment. Every threshold generates a various dot in the ROC space. There is a significant improvement in our result from the red line, 0,765, to blue one, 0.866, by adding our 2 new variables. To test a classifier's performance, AUC, the area under the ROC curve, is widely used. Bradley, et al., 1997. As shown in Figure 2, the AUC for our detection model is 0.866. We make comparison between our model and the previous one, which is without product features in the same data context. The result is significantly improved, 0.765. The results show that the 2 variables are significantly effective. It also shows that we supply a valid means for detecting collusive transactions. 7. Conclusion. The contribution in our study is threefold. 1. We introduce 2 new features of fraud transaction and combine them with other user characters for fraud recognition. Our way of acquiring the indicators could be generalized to other collusion behavior detection. 2. We use a real-world dataset to verify the practicability of our detection model. 3. We give some implications to platform policy in online e-commerce for protecting online reputation environment. Key findings are shown in Table 6. We also give our corresponding explanations. The process of obtaining these indexes, short text classification, can be generalized to other kinds of fraud activities. There are significantly different behaviors between benign participator and fraudster. In collusive transactions, many new registered forged buyers actively participate fake transactions by shopping virtual and cheap products. They will supply high praise by giving high rating level and detailed writing reviews. Further, research could pay more attention to develop the model mentioned above to a more universal one. Diversified, informative data from other e-business platforms can be Used to uncover the gains and the costs of fraud. Transactions to check the effectiveness of the collusion. Detecting model. What is more, the collusive organizations are trying to improve their abilities to avoid being detected by Dobeo. So, one direction of our further research is to develop a more adaptive detection model.